Hello, I'm Otto, and welcome to episode 1 of my post-novice Space Age guide. So I did have an episode 0 where I just kind of had look at a little bit of a base recap and to kind of go over some of the things that we've done. But if this is the first video that you've seen, then and you want to see what we've been up to, I will put a link in the description of the last playthrough or the last playlist that I had with everything leading up to this point, starting from seed creation. So we also, in the last episode, in episode 0, kind of started the process of making a ship. I wanted to make sure that we could have some supplies up here and ready. I don't know exactly how much of this we will end up using, but for now we can trim some of the edges. We also, what did we do? Brought up some items. I didn't bring up everything. There are a few things that I would like to snap. Oh, look at this. We got a couple of these actually. Don't trash and request. No. Abort. Yeah, there's a few things here that I would like to send up. Just to kind of help us along the way. These can just be grabbed automatically. So... Oh, I did get some... Okay, really, I got one rare. That's it. Whatever. It's not even worth it. Okay, so... in this episode, we are going to be creating our first mobile space platform. Our first spaceship. And... So I didn't really go over... Okay, so... I added some beacons here because it was kind of taking a while with some productivity modules to kind of make sure that the rockets could launch back to back. Close enough. Yeah, so we had these set up for automatic requests. So when we look at the space platform, we can request in items similar to our own personal logistics. So for instance, if we wanted some accumulators, we could order that in. There is a different way too. You could say take something and just place it, and once it's ghosted in, as long as you have the auto request missing construction materials, it will automatically try to bring stuff up for you. So we could, for instance, tell it to bring up some crushers. Now it says that it's going to try to bring up 2, but in reality, it is going to bring up a rocket capacity. You can see that the crusher stack size is 10 and rocket capacity is 10. Solar panel, stack size is 50, rocket capacity is 50. It's not always a stack size. So for instance, if we look at this one here, assembling machine rank 3 is stack size of 50, but the rocket capacity is 25. So it's not always like a 1-to-1. Stack size is 10, rocket capacity is 1. You get the idea. But it will try to bring up a minimal amount. Well, what if we have something like, I don't know, 1 or... let me get away from these rockets. That's loud. So what if we have like 1 or 2 things that we want to send up? Well, we can tell one of the rockets to stop fulfilling automatic requests from space platforms, and we can just pop that in there. You'll see that there will be a wait. So now we are at capacity, so we can deliver that cargo to the peon. Let's say we did the same thing here, just to kind of get this going. And if we have, like if we end up sending too much up, that's okay. We can always ship it back down and it will arrive here at this guy and can be distributed from there. Okay, so let's get on to making our ship. So there's a couple of concepts that we need to know. We know a little bit because we've set up a space platform, a space science platform. So we kind of have an idea. Probably going to have a little bit of a sushi belt. General rule of thumb is you want to try to keep the asteroids on one side and maybe other things. Really? I literally just say, hey, we're going to keep the asteroids on one side, and then there's one floating around. Ah, there's more. What? Okay, whatever. Not that. It's this guy. Okay, not a big deal. We will. That is not a problem that we are going to have with this. Anyways. So there's a couple of concepts. One is the sushi belt, keeping asteroids on one side and other things on the other side. The other is we can use this space platform hub as storage, but if we want the extra storage, then we probably want to use these cargo bays. So as I start adding these on, you can kind of see that we get a little bit extra capacity. Ends up being a lot of capacity. So all that is required of these is that they are touching kind of in some way. So this is just barely on the last two tiles, and it gives us that little bit of extra. So, and obviously they can be daisy chained together. So I'm going to have 10 of these because we are kind of modeling this. Like we're going to end up using this is going to be our like rough design going forward. We are going to kind of use this weird little like rectangular ship design and go from there. So I also want some nuclear power. Which we'll need incoming and outgoing. Let's get some solar panels down so we can start the process. We just need some. We will remove a lot of these as we... Yeah, let's just put them down. We will remove these as necessary. As you can see, we pretty much make stuff instant. Oh, I love the way that looks. It's so cool. They did such a good job with this. What was I saying? Yeah, so we need nuclear. Well, we don't need it, but we're going to use it. We need heat pipes. I'm making this in a very specific way because at some point, if we ever needed more nuclear power, we would have a second one be here. So I am setting this up in a way that is expandable in the future. This is definitely going to be one of those situations where we will have some teardown and recrafting because, like, once you really start getting into the ship creation, like, eventually we'll need other items, we'll need more stuff. We need some gun turrets, and we're going to use laser turrets. Okay, I should also say this. Laser turrets are very largely a complete waste for space. They are the most useless item in space. However, they are useful. And since we are using nuclear, we are going to have some extra space for megawatt usage, for power usage. And this will also help logistics of the gun turrets a bit easier because we will need to protect our sides. So that will be the job of the laser turrets. The main forward guns for destroying asteroids will come from our gun turrets. Like I said, the lasers are just kind of a bonus. If we didn't have nuclear power up here, if we were just doing solar, it would be a lot harder to justify using the space turrets because you would have situations where your power would be in a constant state of not having enough and just barely having enough, depending on how many solar panels you have down. And the solar panels, I should say, work way better in space than they do on the planets. So you can see on the right-hand side, it has a, what is that, 200% bonus out here. Which is fantastic. You can see, okay, so whatever, 300%, it works 300%. So the 100% from base and plus 200%. On novice, it has at the very bottom 300%. On Volcanus in space, it has 600% and then 400% on the surface. So on the surface of Volcanus, the solar power is better than it is in space on novice. There is a day-night cycle on each of the planets though, so keep that in mind. Gleba, 200% in space, 50% on the planet. Fulgora, 120% in space, and 20% on the planet. That's crazy. Not as crazy as some of the other ones. Aquilo, 60% solar power in space. So it is 60% as effective as it is on the surface of Novice, and 1% power on the planet. Wow. As we start getting out farther in space, it is just a measly 1%. Okay, back to our ship creation. So this is kind of where I like to start. I like to start with, okay, where's my power generation going to be? Where, like, once you get the power generation figured out, you can then branch off. I tend to prefer power generation first, and then dealing with, like, thrusters and stuff. All the rest just kind of almost, like, creates itself. Oh, yes, I had queued up some technologies. Oh, that is something that I didn't mention in my episode 0. So it took me quite a bit of time to get a lot of these walls set up, and a lot of the different things. What the? Hey! And a lot of the different things going. And in that time, I was doing a bunch of research, and at some point I realized, oh, like I have kind of spent a lot of time doing this, and the research is quite high. So, yeah, mining productivity is at 14. Physical damage is 10. Oh my goodness. That is, yeah, a little overkill. It's going to make space travel pretty easy, especially with the size of the ship that we're making. And I just figured, you know what, I'll just queue up some stuff. You kind of always want to have something on the go, so sure, why not? Oh yes, more mining productivity. Okay, anyways, back to what we were doing. So with a setup like this, since we're only using one nuclear reactor, we've kind of covered this in the nuclear power video, but we are consuming 40 megawatts worth of power, or it is creating 40 megawatts worth of power. And because of that, we need a heat exchanger to cover that quantity. So the heat exchangers consume 10, so we will need 4 of these. And yes, make sure they're all connected. So then this is producing 103 steam. Times 4 is what, 412? And the steam turbines consume 60. So to get an exact number, I think it's like 7 that we need. 412 divided by 60 is 6.8666666. So we will just call that 7. And this is largely going to determine the size of our ship. And then we will need to get water in here at some point. Okay, so how do we get some water in? I did not bring up any chemical plants. All right, so we can make water from ice. No, let's back these up. And I want to have this kind of central with the main hub, the platform hub, space platform hub. Ugh, the names. Okay, so this will be making water, and we are also going to need some fluid storage. The only reason why we need fluid storage is because we will not be able to produce enough on the trip of what we need to be able to make the trip. So we need to have a little bit of a bank stored for some of the items or some of the liquids that we will need, which will largely be water, the thruster fuel, and thruster oxidizer coolant. We will be tracking all of those and use a combinator to tell the ship, hey, we have enough. It is going to be okay. We're good to go. Okay, so that is going to cover water. So to get water, we need ice. To get ice, we need to have a way of collecting it. And this is going to largely determine where our sushi belt is going to go. These asteroid collectors will be on the front. I think I'm going to put regular ones down for now. Oh, it's so cool. And then that is going to determine where our collectors will go, asteroid collectors. So I'm going to copy these and just kind of pair them out. I'm going to have 4 on this side, 4 on this side, and I think maybe 2 in the front. Whoops. Okay, so no, we're actually gonna need quite a bit more than that. Anyways, okay, so we're gonna end up having water here. We need a way. This is going to be probably something like this. And then we will be collecting ice off the belts here. So why do we have so much water? Because we have, what, 100? We have 10.3 per each of these. These are crafting 20 water per second. So we really only needed like one of these, two of these to fulfill the water requirements for here. Well, it turns out the oxidizer and the thruster fuel also need water. So we're going to have the oxidizer on this side, and we're going to have 4 of them. The thruster fuel would be on this side, and we need 4 of those. Okay, so now we're getting into a little bit of the kind of weird stuff. Let's do this. So again, I like to have my thrusters lined up. Really? I feel like it wasn't this finicky before. There. So as you can see with the thruster, yes, thruster, we have a double-sided arrow for the thruster fuel and a double-sided arrow for the oxidizer. Whenever I first started doing this, I had them kind of like spaced out like this, and I was like, okay, how do I feed this one into here and this one you know, it was like really weird and janky. Like, it was really awkward, but yeah, you figure out pretty fast that you can just kind of pair these up together. Oh my goodness, and the misclicking. So as long as we have, for instance, the oxidizer coming in from this direction, it can feed through here the next thrusters. So we could literally just chain these together, and all of these would have access to the thruster fuel that these are creating. Now, we are not making that much. We are not making that much. We are only going to be making 3 of these. One of these needs to be lower rank. Did I bring up extras? I did. I shouldn't have. I only needed these 3. That's all we will be making to start. Okay, so we know that we can... We now know that we can chain these together. But one thing that we also need is to be able to collect them. So I'm going to put one of these up here to collect the oxidizer, and one of these here to collect the thruster fuel. You can also kind of have them separated and use pumps to kind of regulate the amount that are going into the thrusters. I'm really not too concerned about that. We just need to get from one planet to the next and make sure that we can get there. So the way that we're going to end up making sure that we get there is later on, we will be connecting all of the fluid together and determine how much we have versus how much we need to be able to make the trip. We will also be doing that with ammo. Those are the 4 main things that we need to know on the ship is how much thruster fuel do we have and do we have enough? How much oxidizer do we have and do we have enough? Do we have enough water to make the trip? And largely, do we have enough ammo on the belt to supply our gun turrets, which will be at the top, to make the trip? Because if you don't have any ammo, you will not be making the trip unless you can produce enough while you're moving to be able to make the trip. We need to bring in some uranium fuel cells. That could have been happening this whole time, but whatever, it is what it is. Okay, so now that we are bringing in some items, so this is kind of the cap on where I'm going to end up having the sushi belt. Now, it takes quite a bit of time for everything to loop back around, and this is kind of like it's almost like storage for us, because it is collecting items on these belts and eventually using them, so it's kind of a little bit of a storage capacity, but without using the central storage hub. Okay, so now that we have the ability to make all of these, the thruster fuel will need carbon, which we get from the carbon asteroids. The thruster oxidizer will use iron ore, which we get from the metallic asteroids, and the ice melting will need ice. So how are we going to get those? Actually, you know what? This is not how I want to do this. I think I'm going to make this tighter. We will do this instead. I'm going to cut this. Yeah, so we probably brought up too many foundations, but you know what? It's better to have too much than not enough. my mother always said. Okay. So we need some crushers to make us some ice and to make some of the other stuff. I don't know where this is going to go yet, so let's just kind of generally put it down. So let's make this one ice. So we can change the oxide asteroid chunks to ice, and it will occasionally give us some asteroid chunks. So we need to be mindful of that. Everything that we end up putting on the belts, we need to everything that we end up putting on the belts, we need to make sure that we can count. So we are not just going to dump this belt into the main sushi line. We are going to make sure that it is going to be counted. So we are going to always, anything that we're putting onto the belt, we're going to connect to the belt line and read the belt contents and hold all belts. And always give it a condition. In this case, it will be based on the ice. So we will enable if ice is less than, let's just say 75 for now. We don't necessarily know exactly how much we want, but we know that like each of these belt segments is able to hold 4 items on one side of the belt. In this case, it is only putting things on the outside. So each of these can hold 4 items. Right now we have 105 belts, so that's about 420 items worth on the sushi line. And then we need a way to get in asteroids. So this will bring in the asteroids, and we want the asteroids that are coming in to be the line that the asteroids go out. So I'm going to shift right click, shift left click those exiting for the asteroid chunks. And I'm going to filter this one to be specific to ice. Copy and paste. So now we have the ice only coming down on this belt. The filter ice chunks, I guess I could have just copied and pasted that too. The ice chunks are only going here. Nothing else is coming on this line. If this creates an ice chunk, it will spit it back on the belt and be capable of feeding back into itself. If this beefs up too much, we want to have a way for it to... let's make this a little tighter. We want to have a way for this to go back onto the line. And so this is going to put this on the right side. These are going to put this on the outside. So it is going to be on the outside all the way through here, which would be on the inside of this belt. So we want to make sure that it can input priority from the right. So anything coming down this line will get priority on the sushi line. And we're going to be doing the same thing with the carbon here. So carbon is going back on the line. We need to connect it to the belts. Click on the belt and read all belt contents, hold all belts, and we want to enable if carbon is, we'll just do 75 again. Actually, let's do 50. I believe it's slightly less necessary than the water. And then these can come down. Make sure to leave enough room for one inserter. And this is going to be filtered for carbon. Oh, hey, and the process has already started. How about that? We need to hurry up and get this looped back around. I don't know what the best way. I'm going to remove this temporarily. Yeah, so if I take that and horizontally flip it, then I can match it with these over here. Yeah, I'm going to force that down and then change the direction of the belts again. Okay, I also need to pull all of this down some. So I'm going to cut all of this and drop it back 1. Because we need some room for inserters to come in through here as well. We're also going to need some water to come in, so I am going to jump the line here. Water is going to all of these. That is good. So you need to be careful about using splitters, and you need to be careful about using undergrounds. The reason why is, let me get this connected real quick, and then we can kind of figure this part out. So you can see that whenever I hold all belts, the belt on the outside has this like gold trim around it. If I were to put an inserter here, you can see that that is now cut off. So how am I gonna show this? Okay, so I'm gonna let this back up. Well, back up a little bit. Because I believe that there is a trick that we can use. This was a bad idea. Hold on, I should not have. Let me actually let this continue on. I will cut it off here so we can, let's say, do a little measuring for this side and here. Okay, so let me just make a mock situation. So this is gonna hold all belts. What do we have on here? Carbon? Yeah, we'll just use carbon. So we can see that we have 14. So that's 14 in this section here, but it's not registering anything else over here. Same with this. Let's say carbon. It's gonna hold all belts. And it has 18. So this one is showing 14 because it's only collecting information from this side. And this one has 18. Nope, that was not the right. Okay. I wanted to do the inserter. So I believe if we actually take this one and connect it to this line, and same here, we would probably have to connect those as well. We can tell this to read all belts and this one to read all belts. And I believe that chains them together. So now we can see that there's 62. This one is also showing 62. This one did not have read all belts. 15. Oh, because it's not connected to, hold on. 62, 62, and 62. So the splitters will interrupt your controlling the reading the belts, but they can be chained together, so that is an option. So that's just something to keep in mind. And also, these undergrounds can't be connected at all. So we can connect like single belts. We cannot, however, connect to undergrounds. So anything that is on the underground section is largely not part of that calculation. And yeah, okay, hold on, we need to limit this guy. Similar to what we've done before, we need to read the temperature. Ah, stop it. Override stack size 1, enable if T for the temperature is less than 5. We could do something low, like 530. There. And that will only let it put in, hopefully, a single. It doesn't matter. Even if it put 2 in there, it's not a big deal. But yeah, so are we getting power from this now? We are. This is awesome. Okay, so now we are collecting carbon stuffs. We are collecting ice chunk stuff. We have power going, so we can remove some of these. Okay, sorry for the cut. Someone came to the door. Anyways, where were we? We needed to set up... Okay, so we have the carbon, we have the ice. We need some iron. Now, we're going to load up on the iron. We don't need this much. But we will need kind of this space in the future. For the most part, you don't want to waste any space on the space platforms. So, for instance, this space over here, we could use solar panels. We could add some accumulators to the little sections. We could do some underground work, like here to here, and add some more. But yeah, we're just we're gonna kind of leave it like this for now, and we are gonna pull this back a little bit. This is gonna be upgraded to that. These are gonna be downgraded. Upgraded to rare. What else do we have? One more for the other side, and those 3 can all go over there. So let's get... I'm going to copy these. And H. Awesome. How far down do I want these? I need room for this. And you know what? I'm just going to leave room for like accumulators up here or something. So let's cut all of this and bring it down. Something like that. Okay, so these are going to be iron processing. And again, this is kind of overkill, but you know, it is what it is. We are 38 minutes into this. We need to pick it up a bit. And input priority on the right. So this is kind of what I meant. So we can, like I said, chain these together. And hold all belts, copy, paste, paste, paste. And that will allow us to kind of determine everything that's on here. What do you mean no power? Oh, we ran out of water or something. There we go. Okay. Whoops. Okay, so we need to process some of these asteroids. We need to use a filter to grab just the metallic ones. I'm going to copy this and paste it here because we will do the same thing here. I can actually paste... Excuse me. Oh, I missed it. Good job, me. Wait, which of these did I miss? Oh, just this. So we're gonna limit these. Let's just do like 200. If it has 200, we're good. As you can see, it's picked that up just a bit. We need to now convert the ore into plates. So we will have iron ore coming in here and iron plates going out over here. We need to make some ammo for it. Yellow ammo is fine. Like, we will eventually be able to make red ammo, but yeah, yellow ammo is good. So we want to connect this as well and enable if our ammo... Oh, I guess we don't need the filters. Oh, sorry, I need to connect this. Read everything. Enable if ammo is less than... We'll go with 200 to start. If you ever see a point where any of these are kind of like backing up, then you know you have too much of something. We do not want these to forever toss their products on and clog up the belt. Okay, so now we need some gun turrets to use the ammo. Actually, I wanted the blue ones to be up front. That doesn't quite cover the distance, but you know what? It's not a big deal. As long as we're collecting something, we're good. So I'm going to space these out a little bit. Oh, did you see that? All right, I got it. And then they just need some kind of way to collect the ammo. Okay, we are almost done here. We need some laser turrets. These are going to protect our asteroid collectors over here. And then any of the extra space that we have, we can just fill it with solar panels and accumulators. Maybe make it look nice. Or just remove it. That's an option too. We definitely do want to have a section. I'll probably just do it here. Where if we have too much of something, we are going to just pitch it. Because this is largely how we're going to be limiting what the asteroid collectors are dumping onto the belt. Like right now, the asteroids are not taking up that much space, but as we get moving and going through space, we will have a situation where we are going to be collecting a bunch of stuff. Excuse me. Get there. Yeah, so instead of filtering on this level, like I don't want to just have this one be at ice and this one just be carbon, or do a combinator solution to try to figure out, okay, how much of what do we need? Let's just grab everything, put it on the belt, and if we have too much, pitch the rest. So this one's going to be asteroids. The second one is going to be metal asteroids. The second one is also going to be metal asteroids. This one is going to be carbon asteroid, and this one is going to be ice asteroid. So we're going to connect all of those. Read and hold all contents. Copy, paste, 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 paste. Enable if metal asteroid. Copy, paste. Enable if carbon asteroid. Enable if ice asteroid. So let's see how much we have. We have 50. Sorry, whack. Hit the mic. We have 50. We could maybe... Yeah, we could maybe limit this to 50. So if it has more than 50, just pitch it. We'll start with 50 for these. Maybe 75 for this one. Yes, 75E. Exactly what I wanted. Okay, and I believe that does it. That is basically what our ship looks like. So we are starting to build up some... Well, we have lots of thruster fuel. We are starting to build up our oxidizer here. We just need water. We need water because we need more ice. We need ice because we just need more ice chunks, I guess. So this will definitely be one of the limiting factors, is having enough water. Again, once we kind of get moving, it will be fine. We will start to collect more of everything, and might even need more inserters or need to bring some green ones with us. As far as a lot of the other contents, like a lot of this stuff can just get pitched. We have enough space that we could probably just leave it just in case something gets destroyed. You could also put some walls around the area. Honestly, in this save file, we're so strong that it's really not necessary. Yeah, so this is going to be our spaceship. Looks kind of funky with the bulges of the asteroid collectors and, you know, no walls, but you know what? It's fine. One last thing that I want to do is I want to kind of connect a lot of the storage together. It doesn't really matter how we get there, so we can just kind of connect this to anything. I think I'm going to maybe have a central location here where I'm going to put a combinator. Specifically a decider combinator. This kind of gives me general access to most of these. Can I just go right to it? I guess I can. Maybe not here. Ooh, so close. Alright, and then I need to read the water. And I need to read the belt contents. So for the belt contents, same thing, hold all belts. So within the combinator, we're going to add 4 conditions, and they will all be AND conditions. We're going to want the thruster fuel, the oxidizer, the water, and specifically the ammo count. So as long as it's greater than a certain amount, and we have 0 water, we don't necessarily know what that amount is just yet. We're going to do a test flight. Not in this episode. In the next episode, we're going to kind of do, like, our first flight to Volcanus is, 1, hopefully going to be successful, and 2, is going to determine exactly how much of this material that we need to be able to make the trip. At least the trip between Novice and Volcanus. It might be different for other planets. But for now, let's say 15,000. And we'll just do that for each of them. Except for the ammo. We're just going to assume that as long as it's over 150, we're good. Greater than... yes. As long as it's greater than our 15K, then we're good. So we still need some water and we still need some oxidizer. We will end up setting this up in a way that tells the combinator. I don't know. Let's just, I guess check mark. We're good to go. So we would connect this. Oh, so close. Not really. And once we add conditions, we would then tell it the condition has to be that we have a check signal greater than 0. Yeah, so that will end up being a way to prevent us from leaving unless we have what we need. Okay, so a nice long 51, 52-minute episode. Okay, so that is going to be it for me. If you've been enjoying my content, well, you know what to do. In the next episode, we will be making our first trip to Volcanus. We're going to bring a bunch of stuff with us, so we will kind of start to set that up, like what all items we need to bring. We are also going to start making a second ship. Literally, that's just going to be as simple as copy this. Yes, do that. Copy this. Actually, we're going to go ahead and make a blueprint of this. Copy this ship, paste it onto another one. Good to go. But we want to do that before we actually set up any, like I shouldn't have had any of this set up, but whatever it is, what it is. Before we have any actual requests for things, we're going to set that up and make the blueprint. Anyways, yeah, so that's what we're going to do in the next episode. We are heading to Volcanus, finally. Oh my gosh, we've had like 50-something episodes of being on Novice and not doing the new stuff. But anyways, okay. That is it for me for this episode. I will see you in the next one, and thanks for watching.